Red Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Unfortunately, our Bulls take another L, their longest losing streak of the season, now up to 5. There was a tale of a lot of different things in this game to me as we're waiting on Billy to get to the podium. There were moments in this game where I could absolutely say that the refs did not help us. There were moments in this game where I can absolutely say that we did not help ourselves. The culmination of two lead to a loss for the Chicago Bulls. And if you do both things bad, guess what? That's the outcome. I can absolutely say that this Bulls team did not get calls tonight, was not consistently. The game was not officiated consistent. The game was not officiated in a way that the Bulls were going to be able to fight their way back into this thing until the second half. But even with all that to be said, guess what? When you're wide open in the corner, you got to knock down shots just like Niang did for them. Just like Maxey did for them. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again, man. Joined by the pettiest man alive, Mr. P Kid. And of course, the man formerly known as Ringo J, Stefan Adon. Fellas, as we waiting on Billy to get up here to talk, what'd you see tonight that led to this fifth straight Bulls loss?
Another bad shooting night for DeMar DeRozan. 6 of 17 from the field, 35% overall. Most of his money came from the free throw line. He was 11 to 12 from there. Outside of that, did chip in 11 rebounds, 8 assists, but very absent on moments where we needed him. Zach, for some odd reason, is not able to carry the load the same way that DeMar was when he was out. 8 of 19 for him, 42% from the field, 50% from three. So for all those people who criticize a step back three, he's knocking them down at a high clip. 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 24 points for him, 23 for DeMar, if I didn't mention that previously. I don't know. It's you kind of wonder if the officiating got them out of rhythm. I always wonder that. Did it get them out of rhythm? Were they not able to do more because of that? Or was it simply just another off day? By the way, this is like DeMar's third bad shooting performance. It's really taking the deep end finally. So he's been riding high up until that point where he had all those games over 50%. Now he's had several under 40. So show
This
you how
game
the
6
time.
for 17. Last game 11 for 30. In Atlanta, he shot 50%, 10 for 20. But it was an ugly 10 for 20. Miami shot 7 for 16. Memphis, another game of 10 for 29. And then, of course, we know he had that run of a ton of 50s.
So he's come down quite a bit.
Yeah.
He's come back down to earth. And so
and it could listen, that could be the difference in what we're seeing, why we're on this 5-game streak, right? Like I said, I just read you guys the numbers. The coincidence of us losing 5 straight coincides well with DeMar not scoring 35 plus and 50% and being Wilt Chamberlain. You know what I'm saying? The Shy asked, do you think we're gonna make the playoffs? I still think the Bulls are a lock for the playoffs. I'm not to the point where I say this team isn't gonna make the playoffs. I'm to the point where with this team, you can't shoot yourself in the foot. And I can't say that I haven't seen them do that fairly consistently. You know what I'm saying?
Now, be mindful. We did not have Vooch tonight.
Didn't have Vooch tonight. Makes a difference. But
that does
even
make a difference
so, without Vooch tonight, you still shot 8 for 24 from the 3-point line. And we saw those 3-pointers. They were pretty open from the 3-point line. They were pretty wide open from the 3-point line on a consistent basis, because to counteract how bad Philly is rebounding the ball, they literally were like, leave Javante, leave these guys, play it inside. You got to knock down your
puts
shot.
more pressure on Embiid to play defense. If you notice, our points in the paint was actually relatively high. We got a lot done in the paint. And Vooch would have lived down there. Tristan that did as much as he could. But it's still like Tristan absolutely was on an island most of the game down there. He started off pretty good against Joel initially, but for a whole game, no one can stand in front of him. But you rotate them out and how they stick that assignment. I mean, realistically, when Tristan wasn't in there, we had Derrick Jones Jr. sticking him. We had Tony Bradley come in for 5 minutes and then almost like take all his fouls in one quarter. Like Tony Bradley literally played 5 minutes.
Yeah.
He played 5 minutes. He took all his fouls. Well, no, Billy didn't play him the rest of it. He had 2 personal fouls. I don't know what Billy was thinking. Don't have me lying about that. But he played 5 minutes. So he was that ineffective in his time that he was like, all right, this is not working. And he rolled with with the players they thought, which meant that DJJ was on him. We saw how that happened. Joel Embiid had 17 points in the quarter.
Yeah. It's here's the
Joel Embiid had a freaking triple. I thought he had a triple double. Okay.
No.
All right.
Joel Embiid is unstoppable, right? And again, what I say in this, you're not going to stop Joel Embiid. We did a pretty good job containing James Harden. I mean, 16, 8, and 14. But here's where the 14 comes. A good chunk of that 14 probably isn't even going to Joel Embiid because it takes him so long to make his move.
Yeah.
Thibault, 12. Maxey, 17. Niang, 14. Those are the guys that put this game out of reach for you. Now, granted, at the free throw line, each of them with 3+. And then Embiid, of course, with the huge number, he got 16 free throws there. But I look at what the other pieces around you, like Niang's beatable. But he's not beatable if you're sitting there trying to rotate out to him at the very last minute.
Yeah.
He literally, I mean, he didn't shoot crazy. He shot 4 for 7. But from the 3, he's 4 for 7. You know what I'm saying? It's like he didn't shoot. It's not like he put up 14 threes or 14 shots today. He put up 7. But if you leave him open, he's gonna knock him down.
I think the free throw discrepancy, it's kind of what took the Bulls out of the game. But that's no excuse for the corner 3. Like we keep talking about this corner 3, bro. Like it's religion at this point. Yeah. And they do it legit every game. Like it's going out of style. It's ridiculous. I'm being honest. I don't know how this hamstring injury affects Vooch. I hope he's not out for too long because if you looked at Zach tonight, he just didn't look right that entire second half.
Yeah. I agree with that.
To me, I don't know what's going on. Like I told you, this is the first time I've seen them like fully in a huddle. Nobody said nothing. Nobody.
We got Billy.
Said. They were getting beat.
We got Billy live at the line right now, breaking down his game.
They got beat legitimately.
I think against a team like this that's got 2 elite offensive players like Embiid and Harden, you're going to have to make some jump shots because obviously with their length and size of the basket, sometimes it's even hard getting in there to finish because of the size. It wasn't a great offensive tonight. I thought we hung in there. We had, some moments where we kind of got into a run. I was disappointed when we started the third because once we got down by double figures, we were constantly trying to fight our way back into the game. And that starting the third with the ball, and not that you're going to make your first shot coming into the third, but you get a chance hopefully to try to get some momentum. And because of our margin of error, we just don't have an opportunity to have segments and time in the game where we either foul too much or, to your point, there's things that a breakdown here, a breakdown there. We just don't have that. And I'm not asking to be perfect, but I think we can keep getting better. I felt like there's been strides made, even though we've lost. If I'm being, totally looking at the team in terms of things that I see. I saw a team that we fouled too much tonight, but it's different kind of fouls. I thought we got in there and tried to really, really rebound after what happened to us in the Milwaukee game. You know, we got in there and physically fought and battled and tried to put our bodies on people. So some of the things from game to game that I see the guys maybe not doing as well as we need to do, I do see the next game they come out there, they try to get those things corrected. You know, now we're not getting the result we want. Everybody's disappointed when you lose. But I do see progress in some of the areas that you're talking about that we got to make some strides in. It just hasn't given us a result, but I do see improvements. And I thought I thought the physicality piece got better as the game went on. And the rebounding, I thought for the most part, we put bodies on people. And we did have some turnovers that I thought were a little bit, careless. But again, we didn't shoot the ball great, and I wish we came out and played a little bit better to start the third.
I know you said the results are the results. You're seeing improvement, but at the end of the day, you kind of are what the standings say you are. 0-9, I think, against those top 3 teams in the East now. And I know we've asked you this before. The longer this goes on, how do you as a coach guard against that? Instead of thinking, oh, we're making strides, and they start thinking, this is just our reality against these upper echelon teams. We just can't beat these guys.
Well, I think it's a really, really good point. But I mean, and again,
it's a respectful way to ask that question.
I look with our guys and even with you guys, I totally just believe there's enough in the locker room to go out there and be competitive and win. I really believe that. But we've had 16 games the entire year with Lonzo, Alex, Patrick, Vooch, DeMar, and I think Zach. 16 games out of 60-something games. And our guys are fighting, they're battling, and we can be better, right? I said to you guys, I don't know if we'll get whole, right? This group right now, not whole, I agree with you. We have not performed really, really well against these teams. And our margin for error against these teams is very, very small. And there's a lot of things we got to do much better. I think if we do get totally whole, we're not going to be able to overcome silly fouls, not blocking out, game plan discipline. It doesn't really make a difference who's out there. That's why I think when I look at the things that we can control, it's things we can control. Certainly Alex, I think Patrick and Lonzo, they make us better defensively. They just do, okay? That's not to sit there to say that they're the cure for all this. And I'm not making excuses for them because we have to be better because we don't know if we'll get whole. Like everybody's, including myself, like hoping. But the reality is we're not. And so to your point, with this current team that we have right now, we have to understand what really goes into winning, what the margins are, and where we put ourselves in a position where we're at a disadvantage. And if we're going to put ourselves at a disadvantage with a huge discrepancy from the free throw line, it's going to be hard to win. There's going to be a huge discrepancy in rebounding, hard to win. If we can't really generate good shots, it's going to be hard to win. And we understand that when Zach and DeMar are out there and Vooch is not here and some of the other guys, like there's going to be a lot on their plate that can send a lot of defenders. Other guys have got to be able to make some plays, make some shots. It kind of comes full circle. So I want to see what happens if we're whole against those teams. If that was the case right now, when we're totally whole against the teams you're talking about, I sit there and say, okay, now in fairness to some of these teams, like we played Miami several times and they had a bunch of guys out too, right? And we played these guys and they've had guys out. Like Dybul was out. I think Harris may have missed the game. So it's not like we're the only ones dealing with it. But I do think that I don't know if it's going to be in our head like that right now, just because I think our guys understand that we're playing, I don't want to say shorthanded, but we're not playing with a full complement of players. And you know what? Maybe this team, even if we all whole against some of the elite teams, maybe we're not there. I don't know that yet. But I do feel pretty good that these guys are getting better and competing. We're not getting the results we want. And again, some of the things have been double-digit losses. Like I'm not even saying anything about Golden State and Brooklyn at home. Like we were just totally after the half, weren't even in the game. But there have been some games against some really good teams that we've really competed. The Miami game on the road, we weren't in the game, and then there's the other games we had been there. So I think if we can just work on trying to get more disciplined, I think that, and understanding that you don't have a lot of margin for error, I do think this group can get better and be more successful against those level of teams? I know there's a long answer, so I apologize.
I have a follow up.
Yeah.
You're always so
You got a follow up.
With us.
What didn't he just answer?
Say the same thing, that you're just consistent. You're always, matter of fact, just deliver the message. That you're just but you're also a very competitive guy, and you always talk about how much losing you take. How do you personally avoid getting frustrated at this time? You guys are coming up short against good teams, and you guys are not.
I think in these situations, you have to deal with the truth. And I think you get frustrated when you don't want to deal with the truth. And myself, I've got to be better. I've got to find better ways to help them. I'm in this with them. I think we all have got to be able to do better. I think it's my responsibility for guys like Io and Kobe, even Zach, some of these guys that haven't played.
The difference is
in places that
we've seen him be able to coach
in this league. There's certain things you have to confront them. And as grown men, we all have to confront.
Kid had a flashback, was then like, oh yeah.
And like I said, it's not just them. It's us too. I've got to do and find a better way.
If Matt Nagy made the Super Bowl, it'd be like, man, I hate that he talked like that, but Super Bowl.
To make the game easier for DeMar and Zach. How can I make the game easier for? How can I help them generate shots? How can we maybe switch or change defenses? Like there's certain things from the bench. It's like hard. Like there's no scattering report when the ball gets up on the glass. Like it is what it is. There's no scattering report like you start with a foul and put teams to the free throw line. But we're all in this together. We're all got to help each other. So my thing is, we always, when you watch the film and you're dealing with, you have to deal with the reality of it, the truth of it, and you got to be able to confront it and talk about it. And if you're not willing to do that, it's hard to solve problems. And I think that in the NBA, these guys are all professional. They're grown men. They've been around. I think the more you try to solve problems together, the better. So me being frustrated, upset, disappointed, down, it's not dealing with the fact that I got to watch film tonight on this flight, and we got to practice or meet tomorrow based on the schedule. And we got to find a way of, okay, what were the things that got in the way? All right, you know what? We cleaned up and did a better job coming out of Milwaukee rebounding. But you know what? Milwaukee, we fouled Giannis 19 times. We come back and foul Embiid however many times tonight. Like, there's things that we have to keep confronting. And I don't think that as a coach, because you talk about it or show a film session, that, it just gets resolved. There's things that we have to do together collectively.
Well, I just want to ask you, what was it like of all the great players you coached against? What was it like coaching against?
Together, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that they're going to certainly, find ways to get more and more comfortable, playing with each other. I've always said this about James. He's a guy that has gotten a huge reputation, rightfully so, for being an incredible scorer. But I also think he's a very unselfish and he's a pass-first kind of guy. I think he gets a lot of pleasure out of that. And I think the same thing could be said to JoJo. I think he likes to do the same thing too. So I think anytime you got two elite offensive players that are along the lines of wanting to pass and share the basketball, what you have to do, and I'm sure Doc's working on this, is getting them playing together and being in more of those situations together. Same thing, hamstring. Yeah, I don't know where he's at coming into Detroit, how long it will be. I don't think it's nothing major, but I think there's a feeling like with how he's feeling that the last thing you want to do is have it get into something a little bit more serious than it needs to be. So what his availability is for Cleveland, for Detroit, I'm not sure. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Billy.
Yep, thank you. Appreciate it.
This is Billy Donovan, coach of the Chicago Bulls, at the podium. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. I'll say this, right? He said some things in there to me that I talked about in my video earlier that scare me about this team, right? Because I asked, is bringing back Lonzo and Caruso gonna be enough to fix what we've watched for a good chunk of this season now, right?
Hey, time out. Why y'all don't add P. Will in there when y'all always say Lonzo and Caruso, but never P. Will?
Because P. Will hasn't had enough time this season.
P. Will hasn't had enough. Like, P. Will's essentially a rookie. He's a rookie in 4 games.
I don't know. I just asked.
He didn't even get an offseason. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would love for P. Will to absolutely come in and give me a Kawhi Leonard type playoff run. But I don't know.
If he hadn't game winners, the city is up.
I'm going to tell you this.
this is the
Steph
thing.
just started some stuff. He know good and well why we don't include that man.
Well, this is
No,
this
you
is
know I'm high on P. Will, bro.
this is the thing. Well, I'm not low on P. Will. I'm just mid on P. Will. Like, he showed me he can play defense and put up 9 points a game. I didn't get to see if he can improve on that. We're gonna see.
But that's the
Here's
most
thing that
realistic take you've given about that man. Since now that my respect for you has grown on that particular subject, because you absolutely was riding with him like he was a second coming of Kawhi. I'm like, the dude ain't did enough yet, dog. Like, he
well,
ain't did enough.
I wasn't willing to go with you where you're just like, he's not worth
Trey.
anything. Kill him and the entire family. Like,
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not willing to go that far. Here's my thing that I heard in that press conference though. You
hey,
heard
Jeremy
Billy
Grant
talk
dropped 23.
about being disciplined and showing game plan discipline. That's the first time I think I've heard him say game plan discipline, which in a sense means that we're putting a plan in place, and then when we put people on the floor, they're not following that plan. Again, I said this earlier, players gotta play. You have to, like I told you, I can't believe it. I can't believe that Billy Donovan is going into the huddle just like, keep playing defense the way you plan it. I love those wide open corner threes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't believe that they're just sitting in the huddle just like, man, I love that y'all are double teaming at the absolute wrong time. And then running to the, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't believe that he's sitting in the huddle saying this. And you heard him kind of for the first time say, listen, I believe that we have the talent in this room to beat these teams right now. But we don't have enough talent to overcome the mistakes that we're continuing to make. Not getting long rebounds, not closing out defensively, not boxing out for these rebounds, not knocking down your shots off. Listen, if you have a bad offensive stretch like we saw tonight, mixed with the refs calling poor calls, mixed with poor defense on the other end, it wasn't just Joel Embiid dominating us down low. Joel Embiid absolutely had 43 points. Nobody else really got busy. But as a collective, the team got busy. That's how you get beat.
So for me, what I took from that is well, exactly what you said, but not even that, because the other thing I took from that was absolutely what he said. He was like, fam, everybody keep basically talking about Lonzo, Caruso, and P. Will coming back.
Yeah.
And that's just gonna fix everything. And it's basically not gonna fix what we going through right now as a team. Like, you talking about 3 players, and nobody's talking about the
3
main
key
issues
players.
that we having. Like, yes,
two key players. Like
two.
The equivalent of losing Lonzo and Caruso, where they're the main part of your game plan, is like y'all losing, I don't know, Kyle Lowry and probably Duncan Robinson.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Like major, like Lonzo is an extension of what Billy wants to run on the floor, and then Caruso is the guy that keeps the nerves down. He's the guy that's been in the moment. He's the guy that understands, okay, here's what we got to do in these moments. Like, unfortunately, your 2 dudes that have been in those biggest moments of their career are both role players.
Well, a couple of things are happening here that I think no one's really given a lot of attention to. Is a simple fact that our stars are not playing well.
Yeah,
the stats look good, depending on what lens you look at them. I mean, like if you say, hey, well, Zach had 24 and DeMar had 23, that's 47 points for your backcourt. They're doing. It's for one, it's not a good looking 23. It's not a good looking 24.
No.
It's not effective, right? And I think there's a difference between high output and effective ball play. They don't always correlate. right? So technically, what did the Bulls end up to lose this game? We had nearly 110 points, right?
110, yeah.
We had 110 points. So what everyone that says, hey, no, we can score points. Did it look good?
We had 106, 121.
Did it look good?
Nope.
Was it effective?
No.
Nope.
It never looked. It looked good in the first quarter. That was it.
Guess what? It's a high scoring era of basketball.
Yeah.
So us putting up 110 points, not enough.
But
Doesn't mean
what
anything.
I'll say this, right? 110 is the low for us, right? Like we lost versus Milwaukee. I think we had 110, something like that. Like those are two low scoring games for us. Normally, now here's the problem. You're also losing the games where you put up 125. like that's the issue where you're doing enough on one end to win the game, even in playing bad. Tonight, maybe not 106. That's a regular NBA game back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would see 106 was a high scoring game back in the early 2000s. Like, y'all, they was getting after it. But now we're seeing that like 106 is a regular game. So not so much that, but like when you start to get into 112, 115, 120, stuff like that, you're doing enough to win the game on one end of the floor, even if you're playing bad. On the other end, you got to make stops. And I'll say this, the Bulls, I can't say the Bulls played zero defense tonight, right? Embiid, you can't stop. There's nothing you can do about that. But the Bulls were playing more situational defense, and I've said this for a while now. You don't have the talent on the floor, on that end of the floor, to play situational defense. You just don't. Prodigy, shout out to you, man. Get some rest, man. Say he out in Germany. It's 4 a.m. Stay safe out there as well. By the way, 86 in here. Hit that like button, man. It was it was over 100 in the chat, but when I went to call it out, I was like, dang, 24 likes. Y'all don't love me no more. Y'all come into the, hey, listen, don't come into the post game and hit the dislike button because of me. You know what I mean? Or because of the Bulls. Hit the like button because of me, my God.
Now, the one thing I will say about what Billy said, that I personally, who am I to say the coach is wrong? But, Lonzo and Alex absolutely increases the defensive presence of this team.
He said they do. He said they just don't fix all the issues that we have right now.
Now the gameplay discipline, probably not, right? They don't fix that. But defensively, oh yeah, they absolutely do that. Yeah. In my opinion. You doing calls tonight or no?
Yeah, let's take a couple calls before you get up out of here, my boy. Let's go out to the 773. We got Shay. We're going to do this quick, man, because your boy got to eat before he go work on Locked On. Shout out to y'all. Shay, hold up. Give it a second. What's good?
What's up, man? How you doing? Can you hear me?
I got you, my boy. What's going on with you?
I mean, yeah, tonight you got to really put the blame really on Billy Donovan tonight. And the reason why I say that is because in the first quarter, okay, cool. They went on a little bit of a run, but when you see shit is starting to boil over, you got to call timeout and put the right people in. Another instance.
But Shay, who are the right people tonight?
Can I finish? Another thing. The last 5 minutes of the game, we down by 8. Why is Kobe White in there instead of Ayo DeSumo when it comes to defensive purposes? Now, don't get me wrong. Kobe White had a nice game, but when it comes down to crunch time and you need to stop, you got to have Ayo in there. And then when you look at the whole stat line, the only person that really went off tonight was Joel Embiid. Harden shooting-wise, had a little bit of a rough game. Maxey didn't necessarily get going until, it was basically out of reach. Didn't nobody really kill us but Embiid. And these turnovers, Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, you really got to stop having the ball in your hands until late when it's time to win. Y'all can't do it all yourselves. We understand they the stars, but they got to cool out with that, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, appreciate the call as always, Shay. For sure, man.
Yes, sir.
Let's keep it going. We got Maul on the line. Maul, what's going on with you, my boy?
Yeah, what's good, gentlemen?
What's going on with you, man?
Not much, bro.
Well, not much, man. I ain't gonna front you tonight, man. I'm off the bourbon tonight, man. I had to take a couple shots tonight after that. I can't just punch out on this one, man. Like, I need I just take a couple of shots. I'm glad I didn't do a drinking game out of the free. Every time Philly got a free throw, went to the line, I didn't make a drinking game out of it because I wouldn't make this call, man. I would
Every time Philly go to the line, take a shot.
Halftime,
Where's Maul? He
before
did.
halftime, I would have been in.
I said every time Philly go to the line, take a shot. Where's Maul? He did.
Yeah.
Alcohol poison.
Yeah, and the scope, and we still in the pandemic. Like nobody would have known. They was like, we can't even listen. Like I had to. I get to like I saw them free throws. I was like, yeah, fix me a drink, man. I need something right now. Look, at the end of the day, I could blame the refs. I could blame my ex on this. First, my ex-girlfriend, she told me she was going to hurt me in ways I wouldn't even understand. That was 3 years ago. Look at what's happening now. I'm like, this is what this woman was talking about. But at the end of the day, like, you know, I could blame the refs for the free throws. Something Stacey King said during the game, you got to learn to take through all that. Like, I understand that we're not going to always get the free throw. We're not always going to win the free throw battle. And yeah, sometimes we're also going to be ticky-tacky with us. So we got to execute better. We got to play better. And like you said, Pat, we don't have the team. We don't have the defenders. We don't have the chemistry. We don't have the manpower. We don't have the team where we can just say we can play situational defense. You know, we can't just say, okay, in the last 3 minutes we're going to turn up and play defense. Because by that time, especially with all the free throws they just said, that it don't matter how good defense you're going to play. That basket is looking like the ocean at this point now. And now all the defense you're trying to play isn't going to work. So you got to start off coming out the gate, bothering their rhythm and playing hard defense and things like that. And yeah, I'm not one of the ones that thinks that Lonzo Ball and Alex Scrooge are going to just fix all our problems when they come back. I think they're going to help with their defensive IQ because they're going to be able to tell people where to be at, and especially when you add in Tristan Thompson as our big man.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just going to be things that they're going to have to learn. And you can't, Billy Donovan can, and don't get me wrong, I'm not up here making excuses for Billy, but there's just certain things that you can't, you can tell them whatever you want, but until they actually, it's kind of like a kid. Until you bang your head a couple of times and you actually learn, like, okay, I got to stop doing this, they're going to keep making these mistakes. And it's tough to say. I've always been of the mindset, if they make it, and of course they're going to make it to the playoffs, but when they make it to the playoffs and they go through a hard series and they lose and they realize, oh, we lost because of X, Y, and Z, that's going to be the turning factor for this team. Because then they're going to be like, okay, we can't do that anymore. You know, it's one thing to do it in the regular season game and say, well, I got another game against another team tomorrow. It's another thing to go 7 games against the same team and you're constantly making those mistakes. And that be the reason why you're out the playoffs. That's what changes a lot of teams around. So it's going to be mistakes. It's going to be things that we're not going to be happy. This next 17 games is going to be tough for Bulls fans. Like you, shout out to you, Pat, for Locked On Bulls. I'm glad you and Hayes are doing it. If anybody can replace Matt and Dave, it's you two guys.
Appreciate
but like
you, bro.
I said, the sky is falling Bulls fans. No problem, but the sky is falling Bulls fans. It's just going to be something. It's a growing pain. And as much as it sucks, it's just something we got to go through right now. And we just got to take our L's and deal with it. Hopefully, when we do win another championship, we can look back at these moments and laugh and be like, remember how worried we were at this moment? Now that's all I got to say. That's all I got to say, guys. Y'all be safe.
Appreciate you, Maul. Stay safe out there, man. Peace.
All right, bro.
Hey, he made some good points there, dog. When you're talking about, like, there's so much that you look at this game and you're just like, what the heck is missing? And we look at, and here's the thing, right? We look for something to blame so much. And a lot of people don't update their narrative. It's either Billy's a bad coach or Vooch is terrible. By the way, I don't know how.
It's either or every game.
Yeah, I don't know how y'all made it through a whole game without blaming Vooch without him not even being there. It's pretty impressive. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know how y'all did that. But I look at what we saw tonight, like Billy said, we have to stick to what we do, no matter what the other team does. What do the Bulls do well? When the Bulls were putting the pressure on defensively, they played good defense. They played the passing lanes well.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you keep that up? You know what I'm saying? Why can't you consistently keep that going? What's the disconnect where you think that you're good enough on one end that you don't need to fix that on the other? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's a major problem heading, and the reason is because, like I said on the video earlier, by the way, check that out if y'all ain't seen that. When you get in struggles, what do? You fall back on what you do best. When Zach LaVine struggles, he falls back on shooting. When the shooting ain't working, he falls back on driving. When Kobe White struggles, he falls back on shooting. Like, they're going to fall back on their offense, and bringing back Alex Caruso and Lonzo Ball is not going to change that. That's a mentality thing.
I think the biggest thing is just what do you want Billy to do? Like, Billy can't go out and play. Like, Mo Cheeks, like all the assistant coaches on the bench can't go out and play. You gotta go out and execute, bro. Like, at the end of the day, you got everybody else dictating everything else around you, and you flowing with it instead of just doing what got you to be in first place in the East.
Yeah.
Cause it's just not, because I mean, and he made, I actually like this post game pressure because he said what I mean, basically everybody else was saying. People on Philly was out. People on Miami was out.
And
people in Milwaukee was out. Milwaukee didn't even have guards.
Hey, Milwaukee still don't got no guards. I don't care.
Bro.
Hey, after Drew Holiday, hey, we need to give them some guards because after Drew Holiday, that's it. But this is what me being on Locked On. This is what me having this channel. I'm not gonna do this, right? I'm not gonna let y'all do this. Billy's rotation sucks too. Okay, his rotation sucks. Who again would you like to see him put in? Here's one. Billy should test Malcolm and Matt Thomas on a game-to-game basis. Bring up Tyler Cook. We saw that. Y'all remember that, right?
I will let you enjoy your rant, brother. I got to get some classwork done.
All right, my boy. We gonna holler at you, man. And we finna get
Matt Thomas ain't seen a shot he don't like.
We saw that. Y'all have to remember. Don't be the fans of recency bias. Don't be the fans of recency bias.
Hey, at least be the fans of good recency bias.
At least, you know what I'm saying?
Hey.
We need to see Matt Thomas in there. We need to see Tyler Cook in there. You know what we saw them do? Get chopped up on an NBA floor. Right now, unfortunately, the best players that are on our team are a part of the rotation. Unfortunately, that means you've got to play some dudes that aren't very talented. Troy Brown, I thought there was a lot of potential there. I really did. He's getting opportunity. That man be struggling. But there's nothing, like, y'all have to understand, if I take out Zach LaVine and I take out DeMar DeRozan, I'm putting in Kobe White, who was also missing shots, and Troy Brown. And then I'm putting in Derrick Jones. And then I'm putting in, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a limit to the talent that's coming off of the bench right now. When we get these starters back, we'll be deep on the bench. But there's a limit to the talent that's coming off of the bench right
now. My biggest thing is, these are, okay, listen. These are the growing pains of the season. Either you here for it or you not. Like, the fan, the average fan would know that right now, these are just, like Pat saying, these are just the pieces coming off the bench. A fanatic is going to say, let the Bulls go get Matt Thomas, bring up Tyler Cook, and we going to work with that. Even though we talk religiously about how Matt Thomas been getting cooked.
Even then, how many games do we need to lose for it to not be recency bias? So you would like to put them in? You want to see Matt Thomas on the floor? You want I just want to know if y'all remember that. I know y'all don't. I know y'all. I know a lot of people clearly don't remember where we were last year and where we are this year. I'm not saying
be better, bro.
But I mean, do y'all really want Matt Thomas? Y'all want that's what y'all want.
Y'all want the dude that ain't seen
I remember everybody in this chat and everybody on Twitter yelling, "Oh my God, I can't stand seeing Matt Thomas out there because he's not big enough to do anything defensively." I remember that. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be smart basketball fans here, y'all. Let's be smart basketball.
Tremaine, again, it's not the fact that they struggle against good bro, these TV records don't mean nothing. Nobody cares about the TV record.
I care about. By the way, we keep moving the goalpost on good teams. By the way, that mess cracks me up.
Oh yeah, update that. But I'm saying, like, damn,
that goalpost be moving left and right on good teams, dog. Let's go out to Marv before we get up out of here, man. Marv calling in from Dallas.
The game plan, man. Please.
Hey, Marv, what's good?
What's going on, man?
Oh man, just dealing with the sky is falling fans out here, man.
I guess without you, man, everybody could crazy, yeah, wouldn't it? Listen, guys, I got a couple of points I want to make. I'm gonna run a couple of teams off to you.
Go ahead.
Last 5 games we lost, right?
Yep.
We lost 5 games in a row, right?
Yep.
Here's the teams: Memphis, Miami, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Philly. How many? Anybody think we're gonna win?
I thought we was gonna win some.
Maybe one. Atlanta.
Hey, I was a little high on it. I came out of the offseason a little high.
He came out big 23 with the chest out.
I'm trying to avoid that, Pat. I don't want to mention that right now. but I told you different. But I just want to make this point: Memphis, Miami, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Philly. I had us losing 4 out of 5. We lost that Atlanta game and we were in it. Now, I want to point this out too. If you take any team, their starting point guard out, and then we didn't play with Vooch tonight, we're not going to win those games. Vooch didn't play tonight, and our starting point guard has been out for a long time.
Yep.
Not to even mention Caruso. Also, where we sit in the seeding is fourth right now. We're half a game up on Boston. We are 2 games, 2.5, 1.5 up on Cleveland, which is really going through a little bit right now. We are in the best spot. Everybody needs to hear this, guy. We are. If you end up 1-2, the way Brooklyn's playing, you might get them in the first round, which means you're gonna play Brooklyn, then either Milwaukee, Philly, and Atlanta in the second. Miami in the second, and either Miami or Philly or Milwaukee for the championship. I don't want that grind. I would rather go through Boston first or Cleveland first, then deal with either Philly, Miami, or Milwaukee. Here's the deal, guys. The 5 games we just lost were almost without we weren't going to beat Philly tonight without Vooch. We had a chance if we had Vooch, but we didn't have Vooch tonight, guys. Also, I want to say this because I am not angry at all. With us being a game and a half out of second, I don't want us to move. I want us to stay 4 or 5. That way we either get Boston or Cleveland in the first round. Then the second round, Ringo, we get Miami.
Yeah.
And we fully healthy. The difference is this. Ain't nobody seen us fully healthy in a while. We're going to be the different team. We're going to be the different look. And if you don't think, just like Ringo brought up the point, why is Billy Donovan bringing Kobe White in? He won't have to because Alonzo Ball is going to be in the game.
Yeah.
When you don't have, like Pat just said, if you ain't got nobody, who you supposed to put in? And the difference is this. In all these points that we're giving up, yes, they do make a difference. From tip passes to on ball defense to everything. So I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to call in for the last one. I had meetings, but I wanted to make sure everybody heard. I wanted to make sure everybody heard this. We are in the best spot. Even in the 3 spot, guys, we would play Cleveland right now in the first round, which means we would have to go through Cleveland, Milwaukee, and either Philly or Miami to get to the championship. That's too tough. Now, I'm not saying Boston's easy. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Cleveland's easy, but it's better than drawing Brooklyn in the first round with the 2 seed, then playing the likes of Milwaukee, Philly, Miami in the second, and either the likes of Milwaukee, Philly, Miami for the championship. You got to go through the complete grind if you 1 and 2. If you stay in the 4 and 5, which and in this case look like we probably will, because we just went through the toughest part of our schedule. We got Detroit, Cleveland, and Sacramento coming up.
Yeah.
Now, if we win those 3, now I know I'm talking a lot, but let me finish, Pat. If we win those 3, I do not want the 3 or the 2 seed. I want the 4 or the 5. Now, the 3 seed wouldn't be too bad because we're either going to draw Cleveland or Boston or Toronto. But I do not want that 2 seed because you got a chance to draw Brooklyn in the first round. Then, second round, you automatically get Miami, Milwaukee, or Philly. And then for the championship, you automatically get Miami, Milwaukee, or Philly. The grind is too hard. And Taringo, he's sitting over there quiet. I like that. And I like to sit there.
Hey, I mean, we handle business tonight. It ain't nothing for me to say.
Go ahead. Hold on, Ringo. Let me say this.
What's
You
up,
draw Brooklyn in the first round healthy, you might be nervous because the second round, you getting Philly or Milwaukee or us. Third
Hey,
round,
if I'm being honest,
or us.
if I'm being honest, the way Brooklyn looking right now,
Yeah, Brooklyn looking sus, real sus right now.
hey,
But I'm still saying don't nobody want Kevin Durant. Hey, Marv, we appreciate the call as always, man.
I appreciate you, brother.
One more thing to Ringo, because I've been watching. I hadn't called in. I just want to say this to Ringo. You know, he's real quiet on his stump right now because Miami's in first. I like that. You know, because Miami will be way more hurt if they don't win it than us because they supposed to win it this year. We don't.
We supposed to?
No. You better realize this, partner, because you're going to really be hiding if Miami lose. If we lose,
supposed to?
we got an excuse. We weren't ready this year. I'm just letting you know
that. Hey, Marv, I love the spice, man. I love the spice. Stay safe out there, all right,
I
man?
guess.
You got to hear that because we see him on the side over there talking every time we lose.
Yeah.
And a 5-game losing streak is nothing. 5-game losing streak, and we are a game and a half out of second place. Hubble bubble. What does that mean?
I keep trying to tell you, I don't care about the regular season, dude.
Hey, Marv, appreciate the call as always, my boy. Stay safe out in Dallas, all right, man?
Yes, sir, man. Y'all take care.
Hey, always, man. Peace. Shout out to Marv for tuning in and rocking with us, man. Yeah. Tough loss. Not a lot of games this week. Bulls have another game on Wednesday versus the Detroit Pistons. Another 6 o'clock start. Hey, listen, this is the bogus part, right? They buttering us up. They screwing us up here, right? Because they give us.
Soon as that West Coast road trip,
bro, you know what I'm saying? It's
10
6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Friday, 9:30. What? Bro, literally March 14th, 9:30. Here's the thing, right? Bulls got a stretch coming up here. And you know, Bulls fans are there's gonna be the fans in the building that are gonna say, oh well, you know, they're supposed to win these games. I don't expect this. They're supposed to win these games. I don't feel good about this. Okay, well, whatever. If you don't feel good about it, have fun. Amen. Hallelujah, peanut butter. But next game we got is versus Detroit. I see the Bulls getting a dub there. Then they go to Cleveland, who's going the other direction a little bit with some injury concerns.
Hey, they did win tonight. They beat the Raptors.
Yeah, it's the Raptors.
I gotta see it.
It's the Raptors. You know what I'm saying? You know, but good possibility for a win there. Sacramento possibility for a win there. So the Bulls got some winnable games coming up here in this stretch of dropping 5 games in a row. Absolutely sucks. But you got 3 games there, and then you go out west for a tough stretch. You got Utah, you got Phoenix, you got Toronto, Milwaukee back here, or in Milwaukee. And then you go out to the Pelicans, Cavs. Like there's a tough stretch coming up here to finish out this season. But hopefully, as you head to that Kings trip, March 14th, you will be having some of those pieces back in the building. So let's hope.
Real quick though. So if Vooch is out for a little minute, how do you think that's going to impact the squad?
It's huge. He's a double-double a night. Like he on a bad night, he averages 11 rebounds. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's huge. It impacted them tonight. It impacted what the Bulls did tonight. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people are like, Embiid still would have got off. Yeah, but you'd also had somebody that can go back at him down low on the other side. You'd have had somebody that's in and out. You'd have had a rotation of Vooch and probably Tristan on the floor at the same time, and that could have changed how you played that game defensively. So, you know what I'm saying? You hope. Listen, we just saw they were talking about it before the game that Caruso he'll see a doctor tomorrow. Let me double check. Casey Johnson.
He got to get his strength back. That's the last thing I read, right?
He'll see a doctor tomorrow to see if he's cleared. I'm trying to see the tweets I liked. I know I liked the tweet. Ooh, Holly Berry or not Holly Berry.
What?
Holly Bailey. I never even made that connection. He'll see a doctor tomorrow to determine the next step and whether he will be cleared. So he's getting to the point where he's getting ready to possibly be cleared. Hopefully, we're able to see that sooner than later. So, unfortunately, Bulls fans, here we are. Stick with your team, ride with your boys. If they're your team, you ride together, you die together. You know what I'm saying? Don't turn on them and try to put them down and rebuild everything. Remember where we were last year? Like I said, keep that recency bias up out of here. And yeah, man, shout out to y'all for showing love. Shout out to y'all for tuning in for another live show. I'm gonna hop on with my boy Hayes as we're gonna record the Locked On Bulls podcast day 2. How'd y'all feel about day 1? Anybody else listen to day 1, by the way?
Day 1 was solid, my boy.
Day 1 was lit. Yeah, I felt good about that pod. I'm not gonna lie to you. Felt good about that one. Shout out to everybody who showed support over on Locked On as well, man. Vern, we're not gonna be live for it. We're just gonna pre-record it and drop it. So it'll be out tomorrow. Y'all stay tuned for that, man. As always, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again, joined by the man formerly known as Ringo J, Mr. Stefan the Don. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago.